This is The Speaking Show. I'm David Newman, and you're tuned in to the #1 podcast for speakers, consultants, and experts who want to speak more profitably. You've got a story. Not enough people have heard the story, and you're probably running an epic business, but nobody knows how epic your business really is, except for my next guest, Mr. Justin Breen. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for using the word epic so many times. I really appreciate this, and we both know what Colby is, so I'm excited for that conversation.
There you go. So give us a little quick thumbnail sketch of the Justin Breen story and some of the fun professional adventures that brought you to your current work, and then we'll dig into that.
Sure, happy to do that. So I'm 100% simplifier, and then since I've started my company, I've talked to thousands of the world's top entrepreneurs, and then I can just listen to all that and then just simplify and make patterns out of it. So I'm all about simplification and patterns. So I was a journalist for 20 years, created my entire business model based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. I only work with visionaries who look at things as investments, not costs, and have an abundance mindset. So those people are either running high 6-figure to 10-figure businesses. They see their families whenever they want to, and they do what they like to do and what they're good at. Or they're going to be one of those people. They're not there yet, but they have those 3 attributes in their mindset. So they'll be one of those people. So those are the only people I work with on a global level. And it's actually a very simple formula for creating a successful company on a global level. I was a journalist, had 0 business background. So now I have a global company that only works with the top people in the world. So here's the simple formula is you see a problem, you create solution to problem solve, successful global company. That's all it is. And so that's all my company does. It just solves the problem.
Well, thank you for being with us today. This was the shortest podcast episode out of over 200 episodes. Justin Breen nails it in about 120 seconds.
All this other stuff's nonsense. And so right mindset leads to right network, creates right opportunities. That's all.
Well, let's talk just very briefly, because I think it's really interesting. You talk about this in your book, about your ascent over that 20 years of journalism. And it was also sports journalism, not just any old kind of journalism. And you kind of had some big dreams, and you sort of stair-stepped your way from one job to the next, and then everything kind of got pulled out from under you. What were some of those early aspirations, or what drew you to sports journalism in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm an 8 fact finder in Colby. You're a 5. That's still pretty high, but I'm an 8. Folks that are 9 or 10 fact finders, they're in a higher ed institution, and they never leave they'll never leave the library. So I'm an 8, just below that. And so I'm endlessly curious. And I grew up reading the Chicago Tribune sports section with my dad, and I was just endlessly curious. And Indianism allows me to be curious, talk to some of the people on earth. And so I do the same thing with my company now.
Tell us a little bit about where traditional PR is flawed, and how the BrEpic, which is the name of your company, how the BrEpic approach is different, how it works, what the deliverables are. Give us the whole good, bad, and ugly of kind of the traditional way versus your way.
Yeah. So again, see a problem, create solution to problem solve, successful global company. So the problem as a journalist is that every day for 20 years, I would receive hundreds of times a day, actually. I would receive useless press releases from people I didn't know. And these press releases were useless. They talked about what someone did, not about who they are. And nobody cares about what you do, but if they care about who you are, they will care about what you do. So my company, there's a 4-step process. It's on my company's website. I have no idea what most PR firms do other than annoy journalists, and they never tell you what they do. So my company's process is right on the website. We create newsworthy stories similar to what I did as a journalist. It becomes a link on the client's website under news or blog. So it would look like a story you see in the Chicago Tribune or New York Times or whatever, and then take that link and pitch to media all over the world. Media is interested, put them in touch with the client. Problem solves. So since it solves a problem, it works with any business size, any location, any vertical. And since I only work with people with those 3 attributes in their mindset, those people don't ask, what do you cost or charge? They say, what does an investment with you look like? And since they're abundant, they know the value of investing in their business and their brand, so they invest heavily in that. And so it just weeds out all the noise and all the nonsense. And I'm perfectly fine having my company's process on the website because it's fine. One, because I don't believe in competition. It's all collaboration. And two, most folks don't have the mindset that I have, and they definitely don't have the network that I have. So it's fine.
Now, in our previous conversation, you mentioned that as a general rule, you do not like people, which for a journalist, is that fairly unusual? I'm guessing that's
Oh,
fairly unusual. It's not fairly unusual.
no, most journalists
So,
are
how do you
very
get
social.
over your aversion of people? And you said that the people that you like, you love them. They your loyalty, lifelong friendships,
Yes.
etc. But
Mhm.
most people, nah, not so much. How does that dynamic play out in your work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So my Gallup Strength Finders, there's 34 of them. I'm dead last in empathy, which kind of surprised me a little bit because for the people in my network, I am the most empathetic, caring, loving, friendship will run through a wall for those people. It's just 99.9% of people aren't like that. So I'm actually tremendously empathetic but just for a certain amount of person. And again, those people are either running high 6-figure to 10-figure businesses. They see their families whenever they want to, and they do what they like to do and what they're good at, or they're going to be one of those people. Most people try to be everything for everyone, right? And a lot of entrepreneurs get into trouble because they try to be everything for everyone. And I'm the exact opposite of that. My company does one insanely high level thing for one type of person. And the way I look at it as is because I'm serving this very, very small amount of people, these are the people that are creating the businesses that employ billions of people. So I'm actually helping billions of people by working with this very small select group of people. And so it's very profound.
So tell me a little bit about the weeding out process because you mentioned that you weed out, and this all sounds great, but I'm channeling our listeners and they're all going, wow, that would be great. I would love to weed out the tire kickers, the price shoppers, the goofballs, the nut bags, the low vibration, miserly prospects. How do you tune your radar that you can eliminate even talking to those people?
Yeah, so here's the dovetail to what you just said. The people who are in my network and are listening to this, which is the minority, they'll reach out to me after this because they already understand. And so for most people who don't understand what I'm talking about, and really what my company is just finding people that actually understand what I'm talking about. And there's tens of thousands of them now. And again, these are the most successful people on the planet. But if someone asks me, what do you cost or charge within the first 5 or 10 minutes, they're essentially disqualified from being in my network because they're only looking at things in a transactional way as opposed to a real relationship transformational way. I can just tell right away because at first, when I first started this company, I was just in the wrong networks of people. And then slowly over time, I've expanded on my mindset. I've built my mindset, which has created the right network, which has led to the right opportunities. And so the three groups I'm in, which have really helped, they're three of the top entrepreneurial groups in the world. One is Strategic Coach, which is the top entrepreneur group in the world. I'm very confident saying that. I've been in that for 2 years. And if I could only do one group, it would be that one. It's changed my life in every possible way. 100% of the people in that group are like me. It's designed for one out of every 400 entrepreneurs, not one out of 400 people, one out of 400 entrepreneurs. So it really weeds out all the nonsense. And I'm also on the board of Entrepreneurs Organization of Chicago. That's a great group. There's 14,000 members on a global level. I think the average revenue, which I don't care about at all, but it's a differentiator. I think it's 5 million US dollars per company member. So pretty serious people. And then I just joined Abundance 360 a couple months ago. So that's founded by Dr. Peter Diamandis. And so people like Elon Musk are in that. 99% of the folks are running 10 million to $10 billion businesses. And that's so if you get in a room with people like that, then you become someone like that. It's very simple. If you want to be someone like that, you get in a room with people like that. You don't stay in the lower level networking groups where I don't need a painter. I need to be around the smartest people and the most successful people on the planet because when you do that, then that's what you become.
Hey, this interview is a real moneymaker. If you're serious about ramping up your reach and revenue as a speaker, trainer, or expert, book a confidential speaker strategy call with our team. The link is doitmarketing.com/call. It will be the most valuable 45 minutes you invest in your speaking-driven business. Speaking of value, let's get back to the show. So let's talk about this because there's kind of a implied invisible barrier thing. if you're not running a $5 or $10 million business, how do you get into a group of other $5 to $10 million business owners where 99% of them are in that category?
Yeah, so I'm not running a $5 or $10 million thing, and I'm in Abundance 360 because I made the investment and I have the mindset and the network. So having the right mindset creates the right network, which creates the right opportunities. That's it.
So I guess the message for folks listening is there are probably a lot of opportunities to do this kind of high-level networking that they're not even considering because they're looking at it as, well, I'm going to stick with my level, I'm going to stick with my peers, and I'm not going to do this quantum leap, of where I really want to be and start knocking on those doors as far as building relationships.
I mean, that's a tremendous question because most people, not all, but most, are cost scarcity mindset. And so cost scarcity mindset and hang out with other cost scarcity mindset. And I don't hang out with anyone who's cost scarcity mindset because I'm the exact opposite of that. And so what I have found is, again, because I simplify and see patterns. So people like me are usually, but not always, aliens within their own family, aliens within their own community, and aliens within their own vertical. Nobody understands us. So it's a constant quest to find people who actually understand what the hell I'm talking about. People with the wrong mindset thinks this comes off as arrogant when it's actually the exact opposite of arrogance. People with the right mindset realize that it's not arrogance at all. It's actually extreme confidence. Big difference between confidence and arrogance. So arrogant people think they're great at everything. I'm actually terrible at basically everything. I'm useless to society besides getting people in media at a super level and connecting people at the highest of levels. I'm useless besides that. I'm a really good dad and decent husband also, but I'm useless besides those things. And all that does is attract super confident people across the world who are really confident at what they're extremely good at. And again, those are the people that have created these companies. That's just how it is. And so people with the wrong mindset think this comes off as arrogant. It's complete opposite of that in every way.
So I'm guessing because you are so extremely good at what you do, that your clients are super impressed, you blow their socks off, and then they come back to you and they say, well, Justin, this was so fantastic. Can you also run my social media? Can you also get me on the radio? Can you also whatever? Can you produce my TV show? How do you turn away clients who love you from the other things they might want to buy from you?
I don't know if that's a baited question, but it's a good question because I'm so intentional with how I talk. My company does one thing. That's it.
And you're transmitting that message constantly.
I've said that 50 times during this interview. Right. So people no. That's already,
you never even get those requests.
No, that's again, mindset attracts right network, creates right opportunities. I'm totally focused on what I like to do and what I'm good at. 100% confident in what I like to do and what I'm good at.
Less confident people would be extremely tempted. Maybe I should start doing their social media. Maybe I should start building websites for them. Maybe I should.
No. Less is more.
Less is more. Well, tell us a little bit. I want to talk about your book next because I love your book, the BrEpic Business Book. I like it because it is short, punchy, micro chapters that really hit you in the solar plexus of
just like this brain. Conversation. The book is no different than this conversation.
Right. So tell us, how did you want to write that kind of book and what was the fodder for it, and walk us through that.
Okay. So a lot of people listening to this thing might think I'm not human, but let me tell you how I am a human because it'll explain this. So, and I don't know if we talked about this in our previous conversation. So my dad was 61 when I was born, and he'd be 104 now if he was alive. Okay. So he died when I was 13. And so he was a soldier in World War II, and he fought in the Battle of the Hurtgen Forest, which is one of the deadliest battles. And I'm very glad he survived it, obviously. So he kept a diary of those experiences while he was fighting there, while he was getting rained on and sleeping in foxholes and getting mortars, things shot at him. And I found that diary after he died, and it's my most cherished possession. Besides my family, I don't care about material things at all. It's meaningless to me. Revenue's meaningless to me, but that diary is very important. And I write exactly like he does. exactly. Different verbiage, different words, but boom, 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 boom. Inform and entertain. Inform and entertain. Boom, 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 boom. And so there's just stories in me constantly. And so with the book, it's not as good as the diary. It's not even as close. The diary, if I ever decide to get it published, it's one of the greatest things ever written. It's incredible. But that passion for storytelling and entrepreneurship, my dad was the president of a company, and he was an attorney in the Nuremberg trials. So that passion came from nothing. He and his three brothers came from nothing, absolute nothing. They lived in a little apartment in a tailor shop. His parents were immigrants. Dad became the president of a company. So all that is in me. All that passion and that ability to write and tell stories is in me. And so there was no intent to write my book at all. For my company's 30-month anniversary, I posted 30 things in the first 30 months that I had learned from some of the top entrepreneurs in the world. So it was a list, 30 things. Here's how I built my company. Here's the 30 things I've learned that have been the most crucial in shaping my company. And so I think at the time I had like 37,000 followers on social media. And so I posted that and they're like, oh, you need to write a book on this. You need to write a book. You need to write a book. People are printing out the lists and bringing it to meetings. So I'm like, okay, I'll write a book. So signed with one of the top micro publishers in the United States. Her name is Rebecca Greider. Chris Voss, who wrote Never Split the Difference, one of the top business books in the last 20 years or so. Chris Voss, I mean, anyone who knows anything knows who Chris Voss is or has read Never Split the Difference. So he did the foreword for my book. And then each one of those 30 lessons is a chapter. Boom, 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 boom. And so it's an international bestseller in 6 countries. It's #1 for entrepreneurship in the US. And it's really helped a lot of people because, to your point earlier, most people would do the thing that they don't want to do, be tempted to do it. No. You do what you're good at and what you like to do. And then you raise your rates to weed out the nonsense. And then you create the right mindset to attract the right network, which creates the right opportunities. So that's what the book is. That's all it is.
There you go. What's your Chris Voss connection? How did you initially meet Chris?
So right mindset leads to right network, leads to right opportunities. So I'm going to say that 100 more times because that's all it is. So I had the right mindset to join Strategic Coach. Chris's son, Brandon, who's in my group. Brandon is the president of Black Swan Group, which is Chris's company. They needed a financial advisor. Brandon asked me, hey, do you know a good financial advisor that works with entrepreneurs? Well, of course I know one because my network's out of this world. So one of my clients is exactly what they were looking for. They hired him to retain him for all their employees. And when it came down to write the foreword for my book, hey, Brandon, your dad would be perfect for writing the foreword for my book. Here we are. There's tens of thousands of those connections in my head. And my head is CRM. I don't write anything down other than someone's Colby score.
Now, let me also kind of connect another pair of dots here. You are a world-class networker. And you just said a few minutes ago, you generally do not like people. When you meet a stone cold stranger in the right group, in the right network, right? Do you lower your shields or do you treat them differently than just the average Joe or Jane on the street? Or how do you open yourself up for a brand new networking relationship when you know that you're in the right room? Is that uncomfortable for you, for example?
No, there's no shield. That's why I'm surprised, again, I finished Dead Last in Empathy because so I haven't done outbound sales. There's no funnels. There's none of that garbage. I haven't done that in 2 years and I'll probably never have to do it. I'm sure I'll never have to do it again. So people like numbers, right? I got a 35 on my ACT in math and I don't like numbers. They bore me. But okay. So probably on average, every Monday through Friday, I do 10 life-changing intros just because I like doing it. Remember, my dad, I have that type of brain, so he could store knowledge and execute. So I could talk to someone in Australia and they'll say something random, and I'll be like, oh, I know someone in Canada that thinks like that, or in Brazil, and then I'll just connect them. I match people just based on their Colby scores. That's a lot of fun. Then a week later, they'll be like, how did you know how to do that? We're doing business together, we're good friends, or we just had the best conversation. How did you know how to do that? I go, I don't know. I just know how to do it. So I get 3 or 4 intros every Monday through Friday for people that want to connect. And some of them want to hire my firm. And so those 3 or 4 intros, they're all from people with the mindset that I have because I've built that network. I've had the right mindset to build the right network where those are the only people I hang out with. So there is no shield with that because I know it's coming from someone who I like. That's all it is. That's what my company is. It's not a PR firm. It's just a giant incubator of geniuses around the world, and we're constantly introducing each other. So, everybody tries to complicate things. They try to complicate everything. I just simplify everything and just work with the right people and do what I like to do and what I'm good at. It's very simple. So, yeah, there's no shield with that, because let me answer it this way too. And I know this is rambling, but it's important. So, screw up, I'm in Abundance 360. We had the top geneticist in the world from Harvard on a call. This was a month or two ago. And I had my 6-year-old and 8-year-old son sitting on my lap watching this. It was pretty awesome. These are the most brilliant people on the planet. I like being the dumbest person in the room. So anyway, this guy's talking about, he's like, oh yeah, the technology is coming pretty soon to allow people to live to 200 and 250 years old, if not forever. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. My sons were really excited about it. That was cool to watch them. And anyway, so someone was interviewing me on a podcast a little after that, and they're like, so would you want to live to 200, 250 years? I'm like, well, I can have conversations at the highest level, which I have 5 to 10 of those every Monday through Friday, then yes, I would. Because for those type of people, there's no shield at all. That's a value to my brain and my network and my life. So there's no shield. Most of the time, the people that don't think like that, they don't get past much anymore. Every now and then they do. And when they do, it does not go very well, because I'm flying the plane up here, they're landing the plane. And there's no conversation to be had. But people flying the plane like to just fly the plane and talk to other people flying the plane.
Super quick commercial break. Isn't this interview amazing? If you'd like to get more ideas on how to start or grow your speaking business fast, pop over to our free training at doitmarketing.com/webinar. Now, you also, on your website, which is super impressive, by the way, when people go to BrEpicLLC.com, 2 interesting things that you don't see a lot of other websites have. Number 1 is that visual vertical flow chart of your experience and education. And what I want to ask you about is you have a whole bunch of client logos, but it doesn't say client logos.
Partners. It's not clients. Clients? No.
So talk about partner versus client.
No. So that's a very high level question, by the way. Thank you for asking that. Your 5 fact finder was doing a good job there. Client? No. People who ask what do you cost or charge, they want to be clients. I don't work with people like that. People who ask what is an investment, whether you look, they're investing. It's partnership. I'll give you a perfect example. There's a digital marketing firm that sometimes they white label my firm, which is great. I really appreciate that. And the head of it is a really good guy. He's like, yeah, our previous PR firm, we would send them all this business. They would never send us any business. I go, what are you talking about? That's the most ridiculous thing. Why did you stay with them? What are you doing? I can name on 2 hands the number of people that have done more intros for me or sent more business to me than I have for them. That's what I mean. Most people have no idea what I'm talking about because they're living in a transactional world. The people I'm with, they're living in a transformational world. They're living in a partnership world. And it's not clients. I say the word client sometimes. That's not what it is. It's a partnership. So that was very impressive that you noticed that, because that's the key difference. And most people, they just don't get it. But everyone in my network does.
Well, I don't want to screw this up. So let's use that as our wrapping up point. I want to ask you 2 final questions. The final question is how do people get in touch and stay in touch with more Justin Breen brilliance? But before we get to that, looking at everything we talked about, the partnership mindset, the whole, networking, the high vibration, whole different way to think about business, whole different way to think about connecting and being of service. What would be one central concept that you really want people to take from our conversation?
If it's okay, I'll give you 2 because they're both equally as important. One is the one from the book that has been the most important to me. And the other one is the most important to the people who have read the book, what they've told me. So the most important one for the people who have read the book is only work with people who look at things as investments, not costs. And for me, it's do what you like to do and what you're good at.
100% exclusively.
100%, not 99%. I work exactly 0 hours every week because 100% of my day is doing what I like to do and what I'm good at. This is actually very easy for me and very fun.
Exactly. I love it. Well, how do people get connected and stay connected to more Justin Breen brilliance? Where can we send them?
I just passed 24,000 followers on LinkedIn. So Justin Breen on LinkedIn, I use it as a commercial for other people. So, and then the name of the book is Epic Business, in case people want to listen to more of this type of thing. Although in the Audible, a professional actor did the Audible, which is very weird hearing a professional actor read your book.
Do you feel he did a good job getting the tone and the feel?
100% yes. And there's only one swear in the book, and it's in the very first line. So it's still a weird feeling for me to hear a professional actor read a swear from my own book. It's very
Yes. The book starts with a bang. Even reading it, it just pulled you right in because that was, I'm going to give away not the whole story. That was the day your life changed.
best thing that's ever happened to me by
There
far.
you go. I like it. Well, Justin Breen, an honor and a privilege as always. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, that wraps up another episode of The Speaking Show. Hey, tell you what, if you like us, rate us and review us on iTunes. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Go grab the notes and downloads and extras at thespeakingshow.com. See you next time.